Hello folks and welcome to Erannorth Chronicles. Today we will be talking about the upcoming anniversary update and what you expect to see in the game as it nears its 1 year of life. So let's start by going to new character and see what has been added here. So if you recall, back a few months back I uploaded a workshop mode called Heroes and Villains in Workshop, and if you had downloaded it, was adding 32 new specializations in the game, but they all had requirements of the DLC one back then. So many people couldn't enjoy it, and despite it was canon content, many people don't trust mods in general. So now this is incorporated into the base game. It's totally official content and you don't need any DLC to use it. So there have new cards and new things to see even if you had this mod before. So let's see what new specializations you will find with this update. Starting with the mercenary, we have the weapon specialist, silent blade, scout and hoodlum, all of which are quite simple specializations but will give you different build varieties. In the same spirit, you will find the bandit, the burglar, the fence, poisoner, spy master and kingpin in the shadow. And feel free to pause at any moment and see this in detail, or just go ahead and go to the development branch. It's public right now and you can test all these things ahead of the release. So for the hunter we have the wilderness guide, ranger and Camuel's hand. Pirate, we have the treasure hunter, dread captain, and as you will see, even if you had this played before through the mod, some of the cards are quite different now. Of course, if you have this mod already, then you don't have to worry about anything. You can just unsubscribe from it. Your games will continue to work because now this content is all incorporated in the base game, and only starter decks have been affected. We then have the mystic with the ritualist, geomancer and sorcerer, and we have the witch with the spell dancer, the sorceress and night witch. And the sorcerers and the sorcerer, you will notice that have some differences between them, other than the name and other than the perks of their base class. In the mod they were pretty much the same. We have also the night witch here, and on the druid we have the shaman, the hermit, close shifter, rune master, grove warden. The acolyte, we have Ineos acolyte. Psychic, we have the Psycho Warus, and as you can see, the more we go down, the more complex the subclasses become as well. We have nothing new on the Performer or the Conjurer. We have Inquisitor, Templar and Shadow Templar in the night. Nothing new on the Philosopher. And finally we have the Black Widow. So These are the 32 new specializations you can create builds with, and while some will be pretty much straightforward, others will be much more complex and more interesting. Leaving the specializations behind, let's go to the background section where you will find several new backgrounds. You will notice that some of them have the exclamation mark, which means requirements, and the wild cares requires you to be human, elf, dwarf, gnome, or nymph to use it, and I'm human, so if I was an elemental, it's no longer here, it's revision. And this exclamation mark will tell you right away that what you are about to pick has requirements. It requires Mystic, for example. This one requires the 2 DLCs. We'll talk about the Overseer in a bit later. For now, let's see some of the new backgrounds. We have the Farmer, which gives you a small farm, but you are nearly bankrupt. We have the Soldier, which is just your typical soldier, but can give you some extra combat cards. We have the Armor Smith, which gives you a ripple effect whenever you play your armor. Equipment, Weaponsmith, the same with your weapon. There are also some backgrounds to make your life harder. They are also denoted with this skull icon. So this one, you start with 100 farthings maximum carrying capacity. So you don't have 100 farthings, you can carry up to 100 farthings. Or this, Visions of Apocalypse. It gives you a portable apocalypse to take in any mode you like, plus a minimum deck of plus 15 cards. Choose only if you want a tougher start, because you are just hurting yourself. And there are many other things like the Experienced, which lets you start the game at level 5. Higher level content is recommended but not required. And there is also a warning, because your character will be weaker than the character that did the work, and that's because they will lack the funds, the proper equipment, the card levels, the bonus perk points from challenges, and so on, but will allow you to jump right away in higher level content. And there are about 10 or 11 new backgrounds, including the Overseer, which lets you pick a small team of allies. And you can pick this team from the starting kit section right here. And these are all cards from the expansions, that's why the background requires it. And you will see that you can start having a small pre-constructed deck with allies that you can then expand on further, and perhaps build the elf deck of your dreams, or office deck, or Werat deck, goblin, Hyanar, and so on. And these are the changes in content as far as the character creation go, along with some new portraits for both male and female characters, which you can see up here in this lane. So the other changes are some quality of life improvements, like the ones you saw with the exclamation marks and the skulls here, to make you easily identify these tough backgrounds or fleeting backgrounds and so on. And also some other highly recommended changes, like you can forsake up to 8 skills now. Just don't go ahead and do that. It will be problematic if you have no skills to play with. But yes, you can now forsake up to 8 skills. Also, some species got new perks like the shapeshifters. You were concerned that some cards don't scale very well, like the werewolf cards that you have in your starting deck. So the shapeshifter's physique will scale your shapeshift actions with your shapeshift rank, and your werewolf's physique will scale up your natural attacks a bit better. And you will notice that other species and classes has also got some extra love with this update. What else there is to show you here? There are some new cards, of course, and you can find them in the player's handbook if, for example, you search for heroes and villains. Right here. 22 at the time of this recording, and they are all cards that added to the various specializations in the game, the new ones. And finally, we have achievements that many people were asking me. Achievements for the modes that got added down the road, like Pariah, Scorched Earth, Chosen, and Apocalypse. They have new achievements that you can use now. So, new content, quality of life improvements, new achievements, new backgrounds, new starting kits, new portraits. I hope you will enjoy this update. That's all I want to talk about now. I will be seeing you next time. Have a good night.